KP.
Coach, how's the kicking competition going between Gino and Reese?
Can any of you guys kick?
No, sir.
We've had good days and bad days. There's definitely a competition. You know, one day Gino does good, the next day Reese does good. I wish someone would take it, to be honest with you, because we got a good football team. We just got to, we got to get to the point where we can't start like we did last year. And but you know what, we're going to be fine. We're working it. You know, those guys. It's not that they don't want to. They're not trying. We got to start hitting kicks. That's what it all boils down to. You're a college football player. You got to make kicks. If not, somebody else is going to do it.
Is there a scenario where both would kick in games?
That first year we did that because I didn't think, it's kind of the same situation with Wolf and Gino. And then Wolf took it over, I believe it was a Houston game, and never looked back. So, that's kind of what I'm hoping right now, to be honest with you. I'm hoping that one of them, would just come in, say, hey, I'm the guy, and they'd make the kicks.
Does it surprise you that it's gone this way this fall with as much success as Gino had last year?
Yeah, a little bit. The other thing, I think that Reese got serious in the spring. When he first got here, he was just, he just thought he was going to be the kickoff guy. And then last spring, you guys saw the same thing I did. Reese had a better spring, and then, it's just kind of the way it's gone. But I don't have any doubt one of them's going to step up. I mean, I think that's just, I told you before, we put a lot of pressure on them, but we've won a lot of games around here with that. So I'm not going to change who we are.
Is it a matter from distance or a matter from hash?
It does it's everything. It's just, like I said, right now we're just inconsistent. And, some of the competition kicks, just things like that. We chart everything. I mean, pre-practice, during practice, and then situations. So, like I said, it's just someone's got to step up.
Speaking of stepping up, who's stepping up behind Taj?
You know what? I've been impressed. They all right now. I feel like we've got four guys. Cam Valdez has had unbelievable. This is the best summer. Our fall camp he's had. Cam Dickey was trending. He had a great spring. He's banged up. He'll be back. Jacoby Williams. Well, what a bright surprise he's been for us. The kid loves football. He's that Beast Texas mentality. He just plays hard. He loves playing football. And then, it's just we've got four guys right now that I really feel good about. I think they all can do something. So that's a good, that's a good problem to have. But, we got 12, as long as we got 28 back there, everything's pretty good.
Coach, how has Jack settled into the punting room?
Oh, he's been great. He's fun to be around. He's got a great personality, number one. He loves being at Texas Tech, number two. And he's got a big leg. He's really performed well. Same thing. He's going to have the same jitters that every other kicker and punter have. First time you come to play, in this especially this stadium, this conference, coming where he's from. But his personality and his nerves, I don't see there being any drop off with him.
How did practice go today after the looking back at what you saw in that first scrimmage?
Good. I think this team has practiced hard. I think we've been physical. I think coach has put us in a lot of, we put ourselves in a lot. He puts our team in a lot of situations that we're going to be in during the year, and I think this team's handled it really well. It's this part of the season. Camp-wise, you're going to get banged up, but these guys have had the kind of the what's next mentality coach always talks about. But I think this is a pretty physical football team. I've been really impressed with them.
How has Valdez improved as a pass protector?
He's just his technique's a lot better. He's gotten, it's kind of one of those deals. Pass protection, you just got to be physical. You can't be shy because, we got some really good linebackers too. You just got to learn to stick your face in there and get busy. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Have good technique, stick your face in, get busy, and go whoop someone's tail.
How's the returners looking for you?
Awesome. It's Dre's obviously going to be our kickoff return guy. Josh Kelly, Micah Hudson, those guys on punt have looked really good. We've trained Dre for punt. He's never done. That was never his deal, but we trained him a lot, so I'm sure he'll get some of those as well. But I feel really good about those. Jordan Brown's another one who's returned kicks for us in the past. He's done a great job on punt. So I really think we've got probably 4 or 5 guys that the first year I was begging, hell, I was thinking I was even gonna go back and return a couple like I did in college. I wouldn't have got real far, but I damn sure would have caught it. So that part of it's, we got guys back there that we can catch the ball and do some stuff with.
Coach, who do you feel most comfortable catching the ball on the punt?
Josh Kelly's the smoothest, and that just goes with age. But, Micah's getting better. Those young guys, it's just, if you guys watch high school film, every ball bounces 3 times before they pick it up and run 80 yards. So, here in college, these guys are putting the thing 4.5 seconds. They're putting them, they got to run. They got to learn to cut the ball off, set up. Where in high school, oh, this guy's a great returner. Well, yeah, he hadn't caught a spiral punt yet. So it's a lot different. It's not as easy as people think. So that's why we do it. We train those guys year round to be able to do that.
What's the one thing that you see from the running back room that's shown the greatest improvement from spring to now, and that gives you hope that, after Taj, you've got 1B, 1C.
Oh yeah, future's bright here. Durability wise, I think I look at that's a big deal for a running back. You got to be durable, and physicality. Because in this offense, guess what? You got to block, and then being a playmaker. These guys they've made a lot of they've made some big plays during our scrimmages and during practice. But you said the right. I think the future is really bright with those young guys. Cam Dickey and Cam Valdez and Jacoby. And even Adam Hill. Adam Hill's doing some great things. He's that big old white running back that's going to run through your face. He's going to cover the ball up like Larry Czar. He's a throwback, which I love. You got to have those kids in your program. Texas Tech's always had those walk-on kids that are tough. He's going to help me in special teams sooner or later too.
You mentioned Taj there a little bit. How much of a difference is it him in this year, knowing that the offense is going to run through him because how successful he was last year and how much he has meant to this running back room overall?
The one biggest challenge that, I told Taj after his first year, 3 years ago was, Taj he's got to become more of a vocal leader. Taj was kind of that example guy, and now he's starting to be a lot more vocal with those guys. When I'm not watching, he's telling them, he knows. And I think it's important to him that he knows how big of a player he is in this offense that, let's be honest, last year, Kitley totally changed our offense. Everything went through Taj, from being where he was a throwing the ball guy. So kudos to Zach Kitley for understanding. And then I think everybody in here and myself knows we found a different weapon in Taj. We thought Taj was good, but we didn't know Taj was great. He became a great running back. Taj Brooks, for what he does for this football team and as a running back, is the best running back in the country, in my mind.
Got time for about 2 more.
Kenny, how much turnover are you looking at in coverage units, in terms of the personnel?
Well, we lost a lot of those guys in the portal that were, that played a bunch for me on special teams. But I think we replaced those guys with dudes. Like the athleticism of those recruiting classes that we had, you definitely can start seeing some of those guys. Even like Jacoby, he's going to be a weapon for us. Dre McCray is another guy who came in. He's a great gunner. I don't know if y'all remember last year. I used him as a gunner some, and he was a hold-up guy. So, then you had those defensive backs, Brendan Jordan, Jordan Sanford, Chap, all those guys played last year for me. So we lost some guys, but I think we got better with the guys, the young guys and the kids we've recruited that are really going to help us. Kelby Vason's another one. So I think, coverage teams, and then you still got the Wes Smiths of the world, Trent Lowe, guys that you have to have because you don't want to play your starters all the time on those teams. So, that's a great question, but I think we got just as, probably better guys athletically that are going to be playing for us.
You mentioned Taj, that y'all knew he was good, but didn't know he was this good. What do you think took place for him that allowed him to take that next step?
I just think that, in this offense, it's the number of carries, obviously, a running back usually gets, and what, I guess, in what Coach Kitley's offense was. And then I think kudos to him for realizing we have a weapon. And it's just, Taj never was carrying the ball like that before. That's why I say I knew he was a great player. You just didn't know he was going to be able to take that load and do what he did in games, making guys miss. And, oh, by the way, his pass protection was unbelievable, and then he can catch the ball in the backfield. Just all of the components that you have to be a great running back. And I think everyone, even our conference, other coaches would say something to me after every game about how unbelievable it was or how tough it was playing against him. So that's kind of what I'm going by with that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So which NFL player does Taj remind you of?
God, you know what? I think physicality wise, you know, he's kind of like, you know, he's his own deal because you know, he's that big, he's 230 pounds, but his feet are so nimble and quick, you know. So I think he's got a little bit, probably Saquon Barkley in him, because Saquon's pretty productive in what he does, catch the ball in the backfield. You know, Taj is really productive. He can run, and then protection wise, he's really good as well. So, you know, that'd be one guy I think he's pretty close to body wise as well.
All right, thanks, KP.
Thanks, guys. Y'all be good.